Hello and welcome to another session, or whatever you would call it in English, Less Stress in Leadership with BeeKonnected show. And today's guest is Chris Mahan, and I'll introduce him in just a minute. My name is Dr. Annika Sorensen. I live in Sweden. I'm a medical doctor, and I have reasons for doing this with the stress issue, but I'm not going to talk about that today. You can read and listen more about that if you go to my on the left hand side. You see my show. It's not a show, it's a group, my BeeKonnected leadership group, and if you join that, you can find all the replays, and you find the replay of this, and you can find a replay of where I present who I am and why I'm doing this. But today we are going to talk to Chris, and he's the big guy today. And let me introduce him. He's a business optimization. Oh, you have all these difficult words. Specialist, helping business owners increase their profit while spending less time working in and on their businesses. And that's a good thing, right? He's the author of 5 business books, a collaborator in another, as well as having 1 fiction novel to his credit. That sounds intriguing. Tell us a little bit about where you come from and your business and your story.
Sure. Well, first of all, it's great to be with you, Annika. I really appreciate the invitation, and hello to everybody who is either here or going to watch the replay. Yes, my name is Chris Mahan. I am a business optimization specialist, and yes, that is a mouthful. But basically what I do is I help business owners find the strategies and the tactics that they can optimize their business in the best way so that they can increase their revenue and profits. And as my biography says, while they're doing that, they are also able to spend less time working on their business. And obviously that means less stress. So I wanted to share with you why I became a life and business coach. In 1999, the year started off with my dad going into the hospital. I lived about 5 hours away, and he'd been in there for about 2 weeks, and basically they came and they said we needed to get hospice because he was in the end of life. And so I was traveling 5 hours each way. I was a minister at the time, so I was preaching on weekends. Well, I mean, I was preaching and working at the church all the time, but the leaders of the church allowed me to leave on Monday, come back on Thursday. So I was able to come down every week and spend a few days with my folks. He passed away on the 2nd of February. Now, again, because I was a minister, because I'm the oldest in my family, I really felt it was my responsibility to be the strong one, to be the one to kind of take us through this whole thing. And obviously, as a minister, I had done that with families all the time. The big difference here is that this was very personal, and I did not allow myself the opportunity to grieve myself. And for those of you that are aware of it, you can suppress your emotions like grief and anger and all those other things, but they end up coming out somehow. And obviously, that's why we talk about wanting less stress, is because we don't want your work and your business or things that are just going on in your life to cause so much stress that it becomes something that affects your health. Well, it did affect my health, primarily at first, my mental health. And I began to go into a deep depression, and I didn't recognize it, which I should have, because even at that particular time, I had 3 members in the congregation where I was serving who are all facing severe depression. And I was going and talking with them every week. And so I really should have seen the signs in my own life, but I didn't. And unfortunately, my depression manifested itself in anger. And so I was just very angry, very on the edge all the time. Things at the church were going well. We were growing. We were the largest congregation in the area. But with growing a church comes a lot of growing pains. And we were at a point where there was a pocket of people who kind of resented the change. And so not only was I trying to lead us through a period of growth, but at the same time trying to placate those who felt like our change was going too fast. Long and short of it is that was very stressful, on top of the losing my dad and the increasing severeness of my depression. Also, at the same time, my wife and I had bought a parcel of property and we were building a house. And that brings along a whole extra set of stress that those of you that have gone through that can understand that. And unfortunately, not only with the stress and the depression, the struggles that I was having, I also did not do a good job financially. And, building a house, there's always unexpected expenses. And the long and short of it is we found ourselves just drowning in a sea of debt. Things finally culminated at the end of October, beginning of November. And my wife at the time decided that she no longer wanted to be a preacher's wife. She no longer wanted to be a part of that life. And so she left. And again, I also understand that my depression and my anger played a large part in the demise of my marriage. I take responsibility for that. But obviously that caused a few more issues. I mean, she took my sons with her, so now I'm separated from my two sons. And she was basically poisoning them against me. They wouldn't answer my phone calls. They wouldn't answer my letters because, as I found out later when I was able to reconcile with them, she was telling them some things that just, made them want to turn against me at the time. And also, of course, being in the ministry and suddenly going through a divorce, I lost my position in the church. So I lost my job, I lost my family, and I lost financially. I ended up having to declare bankruptcy. And finally, it was just after Thanksgiving, or just before Thanksgiving, excuse me, I found myself in a rundown hotel, and I had purchased some pills and some alcohol, and that night I tried to take my own life. There were some circumstances, which is a whole nother story of why I was unsuccessful, but here's my whole reason for sharing this story with you, is I was not handling the stress of being a leader in an organization that was growing, balancing that with my family time, allowing myself to have personal time so that I could grieve and work on my own mental health. And all of that led to, as I said, a place where I felt suicide was the only way out. And you might be interested to note that business owners in America have one of the largest divorce statistics among all other groups. There are a few that have more, but business owners find themselves in situations where the stress has become so great, where all the things have just contributed to make them feel like their world is falling apart, and they end up feeling like the only escape is to take their own lives. It was for that reason that I became a business and life coach. I had been through that. I did not want others to have to deal with that same thing. And so I did some training. Of course, in my past, I worked for 30 years as a minister. So I had a lot of experience in consulting and counseling people in different areas of their lives. So I felt that I would use all of that background that I had. And I entered into this because many entrepreneurs are really good at what they do. Let's just take a bicycle repair person who opens up a business where he is selling parts and repairing bicycles. He or she may be really, really good at the mechanics of building those bikes and rebuilding them and fixing them. But when it comes to working on the accounting and the bookkeeping and the human relations things that are all a part of the businesses that we run, they find themselves floundering. Yeah. They really don't know what to do. And so I have, I license this proprietary software that I go into a business. I do a thorough evaluation of their current position. And then we map out for a course of a year, the things that they can do to increase their profit and to actually spend less time working in and on their business. And so we provide that 12-month roadmap, so to speak, or blueprint is another term that I use sometimes. So Annika, it's, that's why I got into what I do, is because I don't want to see other entrepreneurs face that same moment of just such discouragement that it seems that there is no way out. And my message is, yes, there's a way out, and I want to be the one to help you find it.
Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing this story and being open with it. And I have two things that I wanted to comment on, or what we would call it, from the beginning. I would say, you said that when your father died, you were very sorry, had a great sorrow, I guess it is in English, and that you had been dealing with that a lot as a minister, but this was personal. And I would say it is totally different to take care of other people's grief and your own. Absolutely. I totally understand that. Personal grief is here, really here. And that's just how it is. And you don't know how you're going to react or anything. You can't predict it. So it's totally normal. And then you use the word should have seen that I was depressed. You should not use the word should not have, because that's not how it works. That is putting the blame on you. And you don't have a blame in that. Mm-hmm. And that means that your brain is constantly telling you that you have, you're making it, or it's your fault. Mm-hmm. But it's not. So you need to find another word. Well, instead of saying I should have, you need to say this happened.
Yes. Yeah, I appreciate that. And you're absolutely right, because mindset is such an important part in what we do as business leaders. And and the words that we use do have a great impact on our mindset. So I appreciate you bringing that out.
Yeah. and both for you and for other people who listen to it, it is very important what we tell ourselves, because that becomes ourselves, and that makes it harder. And your story becomes tougher because you totally blame yourself. And I'm very sorry that you about your kids too. And I mean, it's also unfortunately very common that people that the other part tells bad stories about the other part, and that the kids are victims in the middle of it. Mm-hmm. And they hear the words too, and they are also getting them inside their brain. So it's a tough situation, and I'm happy that you can talk to your kids now.
Yes. Yeah, it's interesting, Annika. So my younger son, I was able to reconnect with him first, for some, I mean, my older son was going through. I mean, he was a senior in high school. I mean, he was going through a lot of things anyway, and so my younger son was had a major role in the high school drama. They were doing The King and I, and he had gotten tickets for my wife Lisa and I, and we showed up. Well, it turns out he'd gotten us tickets for the wrong night. We thought we had Friday night, but he'd gotten the tickets for Saturday night. And so here we were there. It was my birthday. And so we're standing out in the hallway, and I had talked to him before the show, before he went back to put on his costume and get ready for the production. And so he knew that we were there. And I'm wondering, how am I going to get a message back to him? Well, as I'm standing there in the hall, my older son walks by. Now, my older son had not talked to me for over a year, I think. And so I just went up to him and I said, hey, can you do me a favor? And I explained the situation. And it was like, I don't know, a switch had been flipped and he was no longer hostile or angry. And so we reconnected. So it's one of the best birthday presents I ever had.
Congratulations. That's powerful, really powerful. Yes. And yeah, I'm so happy for you that you got your kids back.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Because that is, I have seen that as a doctor. You see a lot of things.
Yeah.
And I've been in bad places myself too, so I know how it can be, and that it's so hard to see for yourself what it is on the outside. You don't see, like you said, you were angry. You don't recognize that yourself. It's totally normal.
Yeah,
you are totally normal.
Well, I don't know. I think my wife Lisa might argue a little bit about that.
Well, I'm telling you, it's the doctor's order. Okay, so let's go on. You and I, we are both here as Elite 100 BeeKonnected experts, and that's how we got to know each other, and how I started this show, and how you have been doing your things in BeeKonnected. So I just want to know, what has BeeKonnected helped you with, and in this part of the stress, or in your business in general?
Yeah, well, social media is obviously an important part for any business that wants to, get the word out of what they do, the things that they offer, the products they sell or services that they provide. But man, the whole outlook of social media has just gotten so crazy over the last few years. There's so many changes taking place with the major social media outlets that we've been using for so long. And instead of making it easier for business owners, in many cases, they've made it harder. And so when I found out about BeeKonnected, I loved the phrase, a social media platform built for entrepreneurs by entrepreneurs, people who truly understood the struggles that entrepreneurs go through. And so just this whole tool has been a great help in my work. And in particular, what I wanted to share with you and your listeners today, Dr. Annika, is branding. When you go on Zoom, your room looks just like everybody else's that does something on Zoom. And there are things that you can't do to actually take advantage of maybe sharing the offers that you're making during a presentation, or there's just so many things. And if you don't mind, I'm going to share my screen.
Absolutely.
And I've got some screenshots of.
Please do.
There we go.
I'm curious.
There we go. All right.
That's your room. Now you see your room inside my room.
Yes. Yeah. So when I give someone my meeting address, this is where they go to. And by the way, that is something that really is a great, another advantage of using the virtual platform of BeeKonnected is you always have the same address for your event.
Mm-hmm.
It's always, yourname.beekonnected.com. And then, well, it's going to be changing a little bit here
Yeah,
soon.
it might change now. But
Yeah, but
it's gonna
still,
be
there will only be one address that you have to
Mm-hmm.
remember and give out to people when you're inviting them to any of your events. So if I give out the address to my room, this is what people will find. And you'll notice in that gray area, it says, "Welcome to Chris Mahan's virtual office." This is a headline for the room. One of the reasons that I like that is when people come, if they happen to be early, or even if they're not real sure if they're going to the right place, this confirms for them, yes, you are in the right place. You're in Chris's room. Then you'll notice on the left side, there are 3 images. And it's hard to see. I know it's hard on my screen because it's so little, but there are customizable buttons underneath each one of those images. And that's why I said I like it, because you can customize it not just once, but you can customize it for every event that you do. You can use different branding colors. You can, again, even what you put over there on the left side, those are clickable links. So you can change where you want your people to go when they click on those. And so that's what I want to share with you, because I think that helping you to brand and take advantage of the opportunities to create relationships with your audience are so important. And it's one of the things that I've really appreciated about BeeKonnected. So on this page, you see my face there in the big with the mauve stripes on either side. And in the background is a white background with the BeeKonnected logo. That's one of the things that can be customized. Also, you'll notice underneath those 3 images on the left side is a red theater curtain. That background can also be customized. And then each of the pictures of the images there on the left side can be customized. And it's real simple to do that. When you're in your window, you simply, again, it's kind of small on my screen. I'm not sure what it is on yours. But when you click on this menu, this drop-down menu comes, and you click Room Settings, and everything that I'm showing you today is done right there. Again, it's very easy to get to, very easy to change. For instance, to change the headline, the room headline, right now it says, "Welcome to Chris Mahan's virtual office," but I wanted to change that for today, and so I changed the room headline to "Welcome to Less Stress in Leadership." Now, you'll also maybe notice that there's a little typo there. I didn't capitalize leadership like I should have, but it is so easy to go back and make corrections that it's just, I just love how simple it is. So there I changed the room heading. Here is where I can change that background that I talked about. And here is where you change your images. You simply can, there's this yellow button underneath select. You simply click that, go to your computer to take the image that you want to use. And then, as I mentioned, there are buttons that appear underneath each of those images. You can customize what you want the button to say. You can customize the background color of the button. You can customize the font color. And obviously, you can put in the address of the website or the landing page where you want that button to take them. Again, also customizable, also easy. It would take you less than 10 minutes to prepare for every different show and get the look and feel of your virtual platform that you'd like to. So here you can see, instead of saying, I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Again, yeah. You can see where I put "Welcome to Less Stress in Leadership." So there's my room headline. You can see that I've changed the images. And in place of that red theater curtain, there's a dark blue color. That's part of one of my logo colors. So, I just, again, in just a few minutes, swapped all that stuff out to make that change. Then the other thing that I forgot to mention this, I got to go back a couple of slides here. Let me see if this is the right one. Nope. How about this one? Yeah, there we go. All right. You'll notice up here is a button that says "Get Connected." right there. And so like on right now, you see that Dr. Annika has in hers, she's got Get Connected. And probably if you click on that, it would take you to the page that describes BeeKonnected and all the advantages that you have with them. Well, you can change that caption and you can change and customize that just like you can those 3 images over on the side. For instance, I changed it from Get Connected to Mindset Coaching, and I sent them to the website where I focus on mindset. And so in this particular picture, you can see up here, it says mindset. The other thing on this picture that I wanted to point out down here at the bottom left is what we call a featured chat. Now, the chat room, you know how it is if you're on some meeting and somebody says, yeah, here's the link to my whatever. And, you know, that's something that you're interested in. But before you can click on it, a bunch of other people make comments, and that link gets scrolled up, and then you've got to go looking for it. And then you're missing out on what's being said during the program. What you can do here in BeeKonnected is you can feature
yeah, but I'm not sure that's going to be in the new one. So.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah.
I'm not sure it is. But still, there is the links are clickable in the chat, and they are there in the replay.
Yes, that's one of the ways that it becomes more evergreen because, as Dr. Annika just said, all the links that you drop in the chat, anywhere else, all of those remain live, even in the replays. So, you know, a month from now, somebody watching this can click over there on Dr. Annika's 3 images, and those links will still be live. All right.
Absolutely.
And then let's see. Then and again, there are going to be some changes, and I'm hoping that these are going to be things that are going to come along with it. But
no, they are not.
They are not. Well, I probably better not cover them.
I'm sure they are not. I'm sure they are not.
Okay.
So I think we'll just skip those.
Yeah, we're going to have to skip those then. All right. Well, let me stop my sharing. So again, the reason that
was a very good walkthrough.
Yeah, the reason that I like, I like working with BeeKonnected as a virtual platform is, number one, it's so customizable, and it's very easy to customize. It does not take long at all.
I can do it.
Yeah, it doesn't take a whole lot of technical skill. You know, you do it once or twice, and then it's like second nature. The other thing is I like the way that you can offer your products, your services, your free lead generators, anything like that that helps you to make a connection with someone who is on your program, who's come to your show, and how you can begin to develop a relationship with them that may possibly lead to them being a client, a collaborator, or just a good friend. Yeah,
and as Shauna says in the chat, she calls it decorating because it's fun, and it is fun, and it's so easy, and you can change it between each meeting you have. Mm-hmm. And that's fantastic. And also that they stay there when you have the replay. I love that.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And yeah, very, very, and it's a simple tool, and it does free up time in the end for the business leaders who are trying to do things in their business.
Absolutely.
Because once you learn this, then you have such a big backup tool for your whole business.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Thank you so much, guys. I think we are about time to wrap this up. Is there anything you want to say, like a last word before I end?
Well, again, I want to thank you for inviting me, and I hope that your listeners will take an opportunity to connect with me here on BeeKonnected. I'd love to learn more about you and what you do. I'm still looking for people to collaborate with on many things, so I'd love to make a new connection with you here on this platform.
Yeah, and thank you for being my guest. And if you want to see the replay of this, and also the other replays of my other shows, or even see what I do, then you can go join the BeeKon readership group, and all the replays are in there for watching for forever. So thank you so much. And what do you say? Goodbye. No, good night.
Yeah.
For me, it's good night. For you, it's probably good morning.
Yeah, it's
or
still
good
it's
afternoon or something.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Well, thank you again, and I hope that you have a great evening.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
Bye.